book inclined, bookish, book nerds, bibliophiles. How many different words are there for book lovers? I had very ambitious TBRs for May, and my TBR for June is no less ambitious. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. I'm here to talk about my June TBR. I'm very excited. I think it's okay to have an ambitious TBR. It leaves me with books to wrap at the end of the year, after all. So, without any further ado, these are the books that I'm hoping to read for June. So first I'm going to talk about Pride Month. It just so happens that two of the books that I've been wanting to read are books that have storylines that are queer and are also written by members of the LGBTQ plus community. So pretty chuffed about that. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is the winner of the Carol Shields Prize. And it's interesting because this book was already chosen by members of my book club. Sorry for the traffic noise. I actually have my porch door open because it's, what is it right now? 30 degrees? It's like 30 degrees in Montreal or more. We're in the middle of a heat wave. So there's that. Anyway, back to the book. When We Were Sisters by Fatima Asghar. They won the Carol Shields Prize for this book. They're a Pakistani Muslim American, and the story, so what I was trying to say was that my book club, a member of my book club had already chosen this book for this month, and then it won the award. So just, I don't know, very nice, little serendipitous. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the story of When We Were Sisters is about three Muslim girls in America who are orphaned, and it's about their, I don't know too much about it, but it's about their relationship, and one of them, I think, goes through self-discovery around gender identity, and it's about how they survive as orphans in this new country. I don't know if they're recent immigrants or not, or how they become orphans, but it's very much a story of these girls kind of alone against the world. And it's described as a lyrical novel, so I'll be really interested to see how it reads. I don't know why lyrical novel makes me slightly nervous, but I'm sure that it's meant to suggest that the prose is poetic. So, and I think that Fatima Asghar is also a poet. So I think it's going to be, it'll be good, I hope. I'm looking forward to reading it and seeing how I like it. The next book that I'm reading that coincidentally works as a pick for Pride is the other book that I suggested for my book club. They seem to be taking my suggestions, which makes me feel very powerful. If we do it democratically, everybody votes, but everyone seems to vote for my suggestions, so I'm feeling very good about that. And also slightly uncomfortable with the power, if you know what I mean. The book that I had suggested is All This Could Be Different by Sarah, I hope I'm saying her name right, Mathews. It's a story about Sneha, who's our protagonist, and it's billed as a modern love story, and I think she's living in Milwaukee or somewhere like that, and she gets into a very quick romance with a woman named Maria, and that's kind of all I know about it, like a modern love story. That's really all I know about it. I've just heard good things about it, and I think it was nominated for the National Book Award or something like that, but it doesn't really matter if it was nominated for any awards. I think it just sounds like a really good story, and I really like these two choices because they're both BIPOC authors, and they're both queer authors, and I'm really excited about those two choices. So, and they're both from my book club, which is like kind of killing two birds with one stone. So speaking of which, I don't have it with me, but I started reading Black Cake with Kellyanne, and so far I'm loving it. I talked about that in my last more chatty video where I talked about my channel plans, which you can check out. And I have a project that I also talked about in that video, which you can check out, which I'm also going to talk about some of the books on my TBR for. And then I picked a buddy read, another buddy read with Lori, which sounds great too, which I was able to get from the library, which I felt really excited about because most of these books are very hard to get right now. There's like a 12 to 15 week wait for most of these books at my library on the digital platform. So I managed to get Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies by Maddie Mortimer, which I have heard, again, really, really good things about, but haven't read yet. I think it's about a woman and her relationship to her illness. And I don't know if the illness becomes a character or exactly how the novel is structured, but I think it's somewhat experimental. So I'm really looking forward to reading that as well with Lori. That'll be so nice. And then I decided that I wanted to join the group read for Sandy's at Miss Reads a Lot, her 1001 book project, I think is how she refers to it. So I'm going to be reading Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin with that group. I'm still trying to figure out how to join the Discord. I will link all of the information in the description box below for this read along if you want to join in. This will be my second James Baldwin this year, and I only got to James Baldwin this year, so it seems kind of poetic in a very strange way. I read Giovanni's Room at the beginning of this year and really loved it. So I'm sure that this will also be really enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to reading it with like a ton of other booktubers and other book folk. That I think this is really about Harlem. Was his first major work. Also, the term lyrical is used to describe the writing in this book as well, although it's lyrical precision. He chronicles a 14-year-old boy's discovery one Saturday in March 1935 of the terms of his identity as the stepson of the minister of a storefront Pentecostal church in Harlem. Yeah, this just sounds fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Excited to read that one as well. Yes. So above and beyond those choices for June, I also have a little project that I have two projects, June and July. The first I'll talk about because I don't want anyone to think that I've dropped this project, and that's Middlemarch by George Eliot. So I started reading Middlemarch at the beginning of, I think it was like around the end of April, beginning of May, and then the Hardy readathon happened and the Asian readathon, and I just kind of went crazy with these readathons, as I think a lot of people did, because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about the name of their video for their June TBR is a June TBR with no readathons. Like, it's a big deal and it's a big relief, which I completely understand. So I'm getting back to Middlemarch. I have started it. So I've already read about 80 pages. So I have plunged into Middlemarch, but I had to sort of put it on hold because of reading all these other books that I had planned for May. I'm participating in the Hardy Readathon. So Middlemarch is like a study of provincial life. It's supposed to be one of the masterpieces of realist fiction. So yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. It's actually better than I thought it would be. First 80 pages is more engaging than I thought it would be. I was worried it would be boring, and I'm finding it actually quite good already. So I'll probably be reading this for June and July, but we'll see how it goes. I won't talk about it again in my July TBR. I'll just talk about it there, and then when I wrap it, I'll wrap it. I know there's a read big books for summer challenge as well. I might talk about that in a separate video. We shall see how it goes. So the other project that I have is that I wanted to do a vlog where I read some books that my daughter had read for her college literature degree. And the ones that I picked for the vlog are Tin Man by Sarah Winman, which is about two boys who meet as young boys, and they live in Oxford. I'm not sure why that's significant, but it's in the notes on the back. And they have a budding friendship that turns into more than a friendship. Look at that beautiful cover. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to read that for my vlog. I'm also going to read Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. I've read one other book by Stephen Graham Jones. It was called My Heart is a Chainsaw. And this is a novella, and it's a horror story about race in America that's rooted in the Native American experience, it says. So I'll just read you the back description, which I don't always do, but I think this one's really good, so I'm going to read it to you. Walking through his own house at night, a 15-year-old thinks he sees a person in full Blackfeet regalia step through a doorway. Instead of the people who could be there, his mother or his brother, the figure reminds him of his long-gone father, who died mysteriously before his family left the reservation. When he follows it, he discovers his house is bigger and deeper than he knew. It sounds fantastic. I'm really, really, really looking forward to reading it. And based on the recommendation from my daughter, I'm even more looking forward to reading it. And then the third one that I'll read for the vlog is Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. I think most people are familiar with the story of Pygmalion, but I think it'll be fun to read the play, which I've never read before. Of course, I've seen My Fair Lady, and I know that My Fair Lady is based on Pygmalion, but looking forward to reading it. Reading about Eliza. So those three are going to be coming in the reading vlog. I can't decide whether to go away somewhere. Actually, if you can let me know in the comments below, those of you who do watch my reading vlogs, and maybe I'll do a poll at some point on Instagram or on the community page. But I'd be curious to know if I should like take a little road trip and then do, because I am going away to New Hampshire, so I could read these on my trip to New Hampshire next weekend, or I could do an at-home kind of staycation type of vlog, or I could do like, you know, weekend in the life type of vlog. I guess it just depends on what kind of other stuff you'd like to see mixed in with the content of the reading versus the vlogging. The other thing I was thinking that might be kind of fun to do would be to go around to some of the different university campuses in Montreal, because the theme is college literature program. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you have any preferences or if you like any of those ideas. She did give me more on her list. You can go back and check out that chatty video. She did give me more books on the list to think about reading. But the one that I'd like to tackle is Monkey Beach by Eden Robinson. This is the story of a 14-year-old, I think, who loses her brother, and just how she deals with that and how her community deals with that. It's like a tragedy in an Indigenous community. It was a finalist for the Giller Prize, and it was nominated for the Governor General's Award. I don't think it qualifies for the Reading Across Canada, but I'm out of sync with that completely. I'm sorry, Jolene. I'm supposed to be reading like a French-Canadian author this month, and I'm not doing that. So maybe if it was BC, I'll go back to when it was BC and make it up for January or whatever month it was. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I've heard really good things about this author, and this author has a lot of other, not a lot, but they have some other books. So I think it'd be good to, it'll be good to read. And the cutest part about reading these is, look, you guys, look. All my daughter's little underlines and notes. It's so cute. I'll try to ignore all of her ideas and come up with my own interpretations and ideas. Okay, and then the other ones that I want to talk about, is that everything? I mean, that's quite a few already, right? The only other thing I wanted to talk about is that I did go to the library and I did pick up 2 books that I hope to get to in the next 3 weeks, because that's how much time I have unless I renew them. The first that everyone's talking about is Foster by Claire Keegan. It's a slim little novella. I think I could read this in a day, and I've just heard nothing but good things, and I've been wanting to get to Claire Keegan for some time. And I think it was, I don't know who it was who was saying on one of the comments in one of the videos that I watched that it's like the most perfect book in a little package, which sounds like a pretty great description. I think it's about a child in foster care. Anyway, I don't really know very much about it, and I don't want to read too much about it when I go in pretty blind for this one. Yeah, I was so happy when I saw it at the library. I didn't know I was going to be able to find it there, so that's pretty exciting. And then I did pick up this one purely for the title. So book publishers out there, authors out there, titles matter. So the title is Francies Got a Gun by Carrie Snyder, and she's a Canadian writer. So she's from Ontario, which was last month's Reading Across Canada. Carrie Snyder assembles a chorus of unforgettable characters who are both well-intended and flawed. At their center is Francie, a vulnerable, imaginative girl with surprising attachments to each of them. Here is a propulsive, polyphonic, heart-expanding novel. Those are some words. Equal parts sorrow and humor, fear and love, anger and kindness, about social breakdown and the quest for connection in a close-knit community. So that sounds really fantastic. The actual story itself starts with a girl running down the street in her neighborhood, and she's clutching a gun. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I'm actually like really into the idea of reading this. I might start it today. There's somebody across from me, like in the apartments across from me, who's watching me, and it's making me like a little uncomfortable. I don't think they're like trying to watch me. It's just like it's obvious that I'm filming, and it's obvious because my door is open and I'm just so captivating. I keep looking at the viewfinder and then looking at the camera and then looking at the viewfinder and then looking at the camera. Thanks a lot, Gemma. No, I'm never going to be able to get that out of my mind. All right, everyone. So I hope that you're having a great beginning to the summer. It's definitely summer here in Montreal, and I will see you in the next video. Say hi in the comments below if you made it to the end of the video. What emoji should you give me? Why don't you give me some kind of a flower emoji? Happy summer. Bye. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is The Winner. Are you going to scratch me? That hurts. That hurts. Thank you for stopping. The first that everyone's talking about is Keegan. No, the first that everyone's talking about... Okay, let's try that again. But I think this is a debut novel. She's an award-winning Canadian writer, 3 previous books, so my bad. I just hadn't heard of Carrie Snyder. So... Woo!